Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our February 23rd, 2022 Left Plan 2 Retirement Board. Go ahead and call our meeting to order. And let's go ahead and start off with a moment of silence to remember our fallen brothers and sisters across the country. All right, thank you. Looking at our agenda, this is a kind of an update for us, so I'll turn it over to Mr. Nelson.
We will start with the legislative update, and Jacob will handle that.
Okay, good morning, board members. For the record, Jacob White, staff to the board. Just start off with some quick background on where we're at in the legislative session. Today is day 45 of the 60-day session. The next legislative cutoff is the opposite House Policy Committee cutoff, which is tomorrow. This doesn't impact any of the board's bills since our bills go straight to the fiscal committees. So the next more relevant cutoff for us to be aware of is the opposite fiscal committee cutoff, which is on this coming Monday. As a reminder, the last day of session is on March 10th, so the legislature should hopefully be all wrapped up before the board's next meeting. We're going to start off with just updating you on some of the on the board's bills, then a couple other bills. The Left 2 Benefit Improvement Bill, House Bill 1701, was exec out of Ways and Means yesterday. Senate Bill 5652 was referred to, the companion bill, Senate Bill 5652 was referred to appropriations, and there's been no hearing scheduled yet. On the Interruptive Military Service Credit Bill, the House bill was exec out of Ways and Means yesterday also, and the Senate bill was referred to appropriations, but a hearing has not been scheduled yet. And then there was the Roth bill, which was a Roth option for the state deferred compensation plan. There was just a House bill on this one. We didn't end up having a companion bill in the Senate. So the House bill had a hearing yesterday in Ways and Means. Just so everyone's aware, there was a floor amendment in the House before it came over to the Senate, and that was at the request of DRS. It just made a technical change to a funding date in the bill. There was no substantive impact on the bill, and it didn't have any impact on when a Roth option would be available to members. It was just a technical changing to the funding date in the bill. And then earlier this week, the budget bills came out for the House and Senate. Both fully funded the state portion of Left 2 contributions. They also fully funded the interruptive military service credit, the cost to implement for DRS, and then also the cost for DRS to implement the Roth bill that was in the House budget. Just a reminder that DRS had made a governor's budget request, and so that was not funded in the House version since they were funding it through the board's bill. However, in the Senate, there was not a Senate version of this bill. There wasn't a companion bill. So in the Senate budget, our bill was not funded, and instead the Senate funded DRS's budget request, and those were the same amount. It was $609,000. Which was the cost identified by DRS to implement the bill. And then also there was the Left 1 bill that I spoke about last month to the board. Initially, that bill had the Left 2 benefit improvement and a new benefit for Left 1. The Left 2 benefit was removed from that bill, and so now it's just a lump sum benefit improvement for Left 1 members, mirrors up with the exact same language as the lump sum benefit improvement in our bill. So that did pass out of the Senate, and it received a hearing in House Appropriations yesterday. And so that's the legislative update. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Questions, Jacob? Not seeing any. I'm looking, make sure no hands up. All right, Steve. Thank you, Jacob.
Thank you, Jacob. 2 weeks left, as Jacob mentioned. Session should be over with before our next meeting. I'll talk about that a little bit. As far as outreach activities go, there's nothing scheduled between now and the March meeting. The State Council of Firefighters will be having their educational conference in April. And at this point in time, we're planning on having a table there to communicate with members about questions and stuff. And that'll be subject to whatever the COVID rules are at that time. Accountability audit. I wanted to give you guys a heads up on this one. The state auditor's office does an annual financial audit of the board, and then periodically, usually every 6 years or so, they will do an accountability audit. It's been longer than 6 years since our last one. They normally don't do any kind of public presentation on this. They had a few what would be called normally management letter type items that they would just bring to my attention, and they wouldn't be in a written report and they wouldn't be public, but they did have a few of those. And so in keeping with the board's practice, the results of that audit will be presented by the state auditor's office. And so they will actually then be speaking about those management letter type items that would normally not be in a written report. That will be scheduled for the next board meeting in March. And then, and are there any questions about that before I move on? There was some, like I said, normally these would be small things, but we wanted to make sure that you, the board, was aware of all of it and had an opportunity to talk to the auditors about it. So it's a little bit out of the ordinary for the state auditor's office to do this, but it's in 100% in keeping with the practices of the LEP board to handle it this way. We always have the auditors present their reports in person so that you guys have a chance to talk with them. The other thing, we're working with DRS cooperatively on 5 or 6 or 7, some of it changing different administrative rules. Some deal with, well, all of them dealing with left, but some of them dealing with like what types of compensation are reportable, some dealing with what types of communications are required from members like who are out on disability. We'll keep you updated as those finish up and get in play. The only one that's really been spoken about at length at the board has to do with the reviews of a person's medical status that would allow them to continue to be eligible for a catastrophic disability. DRS is expecting to begin those reviews in 2023, and they're going to start with financial reviews and then proceed with the medical reviews. The rules and the communications and stuff are surrounding that program they've been working with us on. Though that's it for the admin items that are in play right now. The next meeting is March 23rd. We have been in communication with the State Investment Board, and at this point in time, they are still not, they don't have any plans to be open to the public. And so that March 23rd meeting is, we're planning for it to be virtual. And hopefully then by March 23rd, we will have some firm plan from the State Investment Board on when they will reopen. And even if they aren't reopening for, the public, that they would be open for us to have hybrid meetings at the SIB boardroom. So we should have more information for you at the March meeting on when hybrid meetings will be resumed. Assuming session ends on time, and at this point, it looks almost certain that at least all of our stuff will be done at the very least, then the initial meeting of the year, of the interim, the March meeting, would be a regular meeting, and we would plan on giving you guys an update on all the items that are tentatively on your work plan for the interim. So those would be your regularly scheduled statutory items and any issues that you have deferred to this upcoming interim. And we give you a final session review as well. So that's the plan right now. We will have that kickoff meeting for the interim in March, and it will be a virtual meeting. Any questions about that?
See that Tor has his hand up.
Thank you, Dennis. I just wanted to report from the WSIB board meeting last week that they're also very eager to start meeting in person and or in hybrid environments. And that one of the constraints that they reported at their board meeting is that their meeting room is not set up technologically to support hybrid very well today, but that is something that they're hoping to achieve in the near future. So just wanted to make sure you understand that constraint was identified. That's all.
Thank you, Tor. Are there other questions for Steve?
Our office will be transitioning back into a hybrid work environment as well. I would imagine that will have begun before the next meeting. We're still waiting on final details or requirements from the governor's office. At this point in time, it's telework as much as you possibly can, and that's what we've been doing. But I would imagine that will be coming to an end, if not sometime by the end of March, certainly in April, that most, if not all, agencies will be transitioned to some kind of hybrid, including us. And I'll keep you posted on that as well.
Any other questions or comments we want to make? All right. Steve, anything else?
Nope, that's it. If any of you were interested in, I think the next trustee education program coming up is NC PERS in Washington, DC.
Yeah, I believe that's May, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, seeing no other hands up, comments, or questions, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Patrick.
I'm here for you, brother. I'm here for you.
Comes out of the woodwork, man, just fast. Okay, we have a motion made and seconded to adjourn. Is there comments or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. We'll see everybody in March. Thank you, Steve. Thanks everybody for joining us today.